This is How I Disappear, a Death Note podfic written by TzviaAriella and read by Hio Stories. Chapter 4. I didn't think he could look any worse. Earl bit down thoughtfully on his thumb as the prisoner shuffled into the room. Though Light had already looked wary and haunted the last time Earl had come to call, he'd at least made an effort to hide it. Now the pretense was gone entirely. His slumped shoulders and red-rimmed eyes bearing mute testimony to the state of Kira's mind. "You're back," said Light, sliding into his chair and resting his hands on the table. "You spoke to the task force, I take it?" There's no hint of a question in Light's tone, only glum resignation. El nodded. "I did." "They agreed?" Matsuda took some persuading, but yes. And the tribunal, they took some persuading too, but I convinced them it was for the best. It's all settled. El cocked his head, half expecting an emotional outburst, but none came. Instead, Light bit his lip, staring bleakly down at the tabletop. "Is something wrong?" "Yeah, I'm going to be shot. Do you have any idea how bizarre it is to talk to someone you know will kill you?" "As it happens, yes." Knight blinked, then cracked his light smile. "Fair enough. You've been moved to death row now, I take it." "Right after we last talked. It's not much of a change, really. I was already logged in 23 hours a day, so 24 isn't much a shift. The real difference is the guards. My old self, no one cared if I exercised or talked to myself, but now I'm disrupting the peace. It's so much as breathe. All they care about is keeping us all quiet, as if we're already corpses, just too rude or stupid to behave accordingly. Which, in my case, isn't far wrong, I suppose, but even so." He shrugged, making a resigned gesture with his hands. "How long do I have?" "Until the 15th. 5 days." 5 days. They're certainly eager to see the back of me." Knight shook his head. "March 15th, though. That's the ID's March, isn't it? How oddly fitting." "I believe it is. The IDs of March." That reference hadn't occurred to El as he wrote the dates, but it was apt. Julius Caesar, assassinated by the man he once called friends. Does that make me your Brutus, Light? I hadn't even considered it. Of course you didn't. That's your tragedy, Ryuzaki. You have no poetry in your soul. And you have too much murder in yours. Seems to me that our worst tragedies in life than prose. Light gave a fleeting, desultory smile. That depends on the prose. Speaking of which, if I may ask, below my name, what else did you write? 4 words rose within the detective's mind, but he didn't give them voice. "You know I can't tell you that." "So you have already written it. I should have known." Blinking hard, Light looked away. "I should have known." As should I. El watched him silently, kicking himself for falling for such an obvious trap. I meant to spare him of that information, but he has no one but himself to blame. Even now, he's still too clever for his own good. "So, what does it feel like?" Light asked at last, quiet and bitter. "Being like me." "Good question. If I ever become you, I'll let you know." "Empty promise. Won't be here to tell." "I'll stop by your grave and leave a note." The prisoner's expression softened slightly. You know, I almost believe you would, but not that mad as I suppose. As I said, I won't know the difference. You don't believe in afterlife then? Light shook his head. No, never have. I was agnostic on the subject, but reconfirmed my suspicions. There's nothing waiting for us. No reincarnation, no heaven, no hell. Won't you shoot me, Ryuzaki? That's the end. This isn't passing on. This is how I disappear. Al pursed his lips, studying the prisoner before him. I wouldn't be so certain of that. It's hardly a trustworthy source. Is that an attempt to cheer me up? Perhaps. Then you've got it backwards. Being dead doesn't scare me, only dying. You're the one who chose the method. It should be relatively painless. That's what they tell you at the dentist. And it still stings. You're putting 4 bullets in me. No matter how you do it, it's going to hurt. Not for long. I know. That's not what scares me. Not most of it, at least. Blinking, Light stared at the table, his lip pressed between his teeth. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'll disgrace myself. That I'll panic or beg or whatever happens out there on camera. That's how I'm going to be remembered. If I die crying, if I wet myself, I'm the boy who dished the earth out but couldn't take it forever. I don't care if I'm remembered as a murderer. I just don't want to be remembered as a joke. You will be. For once, Elle felt an unwelcome pang of sympathy for his doomed nemesis. No matter how bravely Light faced his end, death by violence was never a dignified affair. Elle had seen enough of violent crime to know that much. That seems an odd thing to worry about. If you vanish after death, you'll never know the difference. The prisoner gave a faint, wry smile. I never said I wasn't rational. I just said I was afraid. He sighed. Tell me one thing at least. Am I being controlled right now? There's nothing specific until the 15th, but I don't know. You'd understand how the notebook works better than I. Al's scientific curiosity got the better of him, and he blurted out the first question that sprang to mind. How does it feel? Light stared at him, incredulous. How do you think I feel? You tell me. Unhappy, I imagine. You imagine. Light raised his hands from the table, displaying the 2 meager links of chain that connected them. I sleep in these Ryuzaki. On your orders. I wear them when I eat, when I wipe my ass, when I'm alone in my cell. Always. They only come off when I shower, and then he wet his lips. I forget. Every time I shower, every time they unstrap the notebook, I forget why this is happening. And every time they put it back on me, I remember. Every day. Yesterday. I just kept thinking it was a mistake. I'm a scapegoat. They can't possibly go through with it. The real Kara will come back. He'll start up again, and then they'll have to let me go. No one will believe. He's just as if he lets me die. He won't let me take the fall for him. He can't. Just a few minutes of hope. And then I remembered. It's not the first time you've been handcuffed, said Earl, ignoring the rest of Light's complaint. You should be used to it by now. I don't care about the damn handcuffs. I care about the fact that for the next 5 days, every time I take a shower, I'm going to forget I'm already dead. I'm going to relive this conversation from scratch every damn day until I die. Do you have any idea what's that going to be like? If you want to be excused from taking showers, I can't arrange it. I don't want to be excused from taking showers! And I don't really see the problem. It's not about the goddamn showers. Damn you. It's. Putting his head down, Light clenched his hands in his hair. Forget it, you don't care. No, I don't. Elle could conceptualize Light's problem perfectly well. It simply failed to move him. Light's agonized scream upon touching the death note still rang in Elle's memory, wordless proof Light had once had a conscience. But the boy had murdered Higuchi not even 2 minutes later. Though Light might consider confronting his guilt once a day cruelty, I thought it was long overdue. Besides, the only alternative is to take it off him for good and send him to his death believing he's been framed. If anything, that's worse. He won't be handcuffed at the end, at least, said Elle. Strapped down, perhaps, but not handcuffed, if that helps. You know damn well it doesn't. If there's anything that would, now's the time to request it. I won't be coming back after this. Until you have to shoot me, you mean? Oh, Light worried his lips, thinking. I want to see my family. I assumed you would. They'll be allowed to stay with you until 30 minutes before. Then I can't think of anything else. That's fine. I can walk you through the procedure if that helps. Elle had expected Light to turn him down, but the boy surprised him with a nod. Please. Your execution is scheduled for noon. Once your family arrives, they'll be allowed to spend the morning with them in this room for last goodbyes. Then give them 30 minutes alone in your cell to prepare yourself. Once noon arrives, you'll be escorted to the chamber and secured in position. I and the task force will be there naturally, as will the members of the tribunal and the cameraman, of course. Light's mouth twisted wryly. Of course. Once everyone's present and accounted for, the camera start rolling. You'll have a chance for any final words. Nobody will rush you, so take as long as you need, within reason. Don't worry. If I have to kneel through the whole damn speech, I'll keep it short. I believe you'll be sitting, actually. They are providing a chair. How considerate of them. Anything for your comfort. I meant it as a joke, but Light showed no sign of laughing. Once you're finished speaking, an attendant will pin a target on you and will take our positions. It should be over quickly after that. And if it isn't, it will be. Light gave him a hard stare. And if it isn't, it will be. Watrisk will be carrying a pistol. If a mercy shot is called for, he'll try not to make too much of a mess of your head. I see. There was a moment of silence as the prisoner mulled over what he knew. What happens afterwards? Once the attendant declares you're dead, your body will be cleaned up and returned to your parents. I've asked them to bring in some of your clothes for you, so if you have a preference. Light shook his head. I barely remember what clothes I own anymore. Makes no difference to me. I understand. Speaking of your possessions, are there any you want to go to anyone in particular? Since you're a minor, everything you own will go to your parents, but I'm sure they wouldn't begrudge. I don't care about my stuff, Ryozaki. If someone else does, good for them. Fair enough. Elle glanced at the door, rocking slightly on his heels. If there's nothing else, what are they going to do with me? The words tumbled out of Light in a rush, as if he were embarrassed by the question. Elle frowned. I believe I just told you. No, not them. I mean, my parents. Once they get me back. Oh, I believe funeral arrangements are being made, but I don't know the details. You can ask your father. No, I can't. He never. The prisoner cut off abruptly, his eyes widening. He's here? He's just waiting for us to finish. Should I bring him in? No. Elle blinked. Why not? I can't. Light's hands were clenched, his expression verging on panic. I can't face him like this. I can't. Well, your situation isn't going to change. Either he sees you in prison, or the next time he sees you is in a coffin. Which would you prefer? Light shook his head frantically, casting a terrified glance at the door. Al sighed and dismounted his chair. He's not going to hurt you, Light. He just wants to talk. I don't have anything to say to him. Don't be a child. If nothing else, you might start with an apology. Rizaki, wait! Ignoring Light's protestations, El pulled open the door to admit his guests. He's all yours. The elder Yagami brushed past him without a word, his eyes fixed solely on his son. Light paled and scrambled to his feet, his chains rattling pathetically. That I... Sit down, Light. Soichiro's voice was grim, but it rang with command. We need to talk. For a moment, El thought the boy would burst into tears. Then he wet his lips and obeyed. You heard everything? I did. Light stared down at his scuffed hands, unwilling or unable to reply. Forgotten, El darted a longing glance at the door, wishing there was some way to slip outside without being noticed. Though the meeting of father and son was by no means private, besides him, at least two guards were listening in, and the camera overhead kept silent watch. The raw emotion of the scene unsettled him as few things ever had. He'd rather face a hail of bullets than his father's disappointment. What would it be like to value someone's love that much? Soichiro studied Light in silence, expressionless. Then he took Elle's vacated seat. Tell me why you did it. I don't know. You do. Explain it to me. Help me understand how my son wound up here, a murderer, not a palace. Please. I thought I was doing the right thing by killing people, saving people. Dad, saving people. I'm not a monster. I just drew a shaky breath. The first time, although I never thought it would actually work. It was just a dumb joke, but then I realized the truth. That the notebook was real, that I saved 8 hostages from a killer. I knew I had to keep going. Remember the night of the Shinryo attack? I was waiting up for you to come home, and when you did, you cried on Mom's shoulder. I didn't understand why, but you told me not to worry about it. It was only the next day when I saw the headlines that I understood. For the first time, he met his father's eyes. You told me the hardest part of being investigated is that you're always too late to save them. I had the power to save people, Dad, just like you always wanted. What sort of person would I be if I hadn't used it? A better one. A better one, Light. Otto Harada, I can understand, but killing prisoners, criminals already serving sentences, posing no immediate danger to the public? It worked, didn't it? Everyone wants to judge me for the lives I took, what about the lives I saved? How many thousands of lives? The crime rate dropped, murderers went down. Except yours. They were killing innocents. I only targeted people who deserved it. L, the FBI agent, you murdered cops, like American cops doing their job, the same job I was doing. What could possibly make you think I would approve? Light flinched. I had to. What about the watch? Dad, please just let me. The day I graduated high school, my father gave me a luxury watch. To this day, I don't know how he afforded it. But when I pointed out I already had a watch and asked why he hadn't bought me a suit instead, he told me it was a message. Man isn't defined by how he dresses. He said, but how he spends his time. I remember I didn't. All my life, I've tried to live by those words. I gave my time to the NPA, to your mother, to you. And I've never regretted a moment. When you were born, your mother thought I was crazy to spend a month of my salary on a watch for you. But I did. All those years, I watched you grow up, waiting for the day I could finally give it to you and tell you how proud I was to have you. And when that day came, I almost didn't. You were a prime suspect in a string of murders. The only suspect we had. How could I give such a gift with that cloud over your head? Why not save it for your college graduation instead, after your name was cleared? But I gave it to you, Light. I gave you my trust and support, and you turned it into a weapon. I had to, Dad. I was breathing down my neck. He would have killed me. I had to do something. You could have told me the truth, Light. You could have come clean and taken your punishment like a man, while I still could have saved your life. Elle wasn't hunting you for no reason. How dare you claim you were acting in self-defense? The ex-policeman's hand shook with uncharacteristic anger. You murdered Higuchi with that watch, and I had to tell a pack of judges that I enabled you to do it. You used me, lied. You lied to me. You used me. You betrayed my trust, and now you say you did it for me. You're better than this, damn it. I raised you better than this. Light bowed his head on the verge of tears. Please don't yell at me, Dad. Not now. I know I deserve it. I can't. Please. The fury drained from Shoichiro's face, leaving him pale and stricken. I believe in you, Light, he said quietly. Right up until the moment Elle put out that letter, I believed. After you tried to run, I thought that had to be some mistake. That when we questioned you, we'd found out the Shinigami had tricked you. That you'd been forced into it somehow. You were my son. My son. I believed in you. I'm sorry I disappointed you. I am, but disappointing me? You think that's why I want you to say sorry? You wanted the truth. Will you let me tell it? Light's voice was husky, barely above a whisper. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm sorry about the agents and the innocent people Misa and Higuchi killed. I'm sorry I wound up here. And that you and Mom and Saya are going to suffer because of me. But I'm not sorry about the rest. Those criminals deserved to die. Dad, I always believed that. Just as you believe I do. I guess. I'm sorry if that hurts, but it's the truth. You blind, deluded fool. Words were harsh, but Shoichiro's tone was more bewildered than angry. I was proud of you, Light. Your intelligence, your determination, your kindness. You are everything I prayed for, everything I might have hoped you would be. And now, I listen to you. I look at you, and I don't recognize what I see. I never understood your mind, your brilliance, but I thought I knew you. But I don't. My own son is a stranger. You threw your life away, Light. Besides everything else, you murdered my son. How am I supposed to live with that? Look on the bright side. You won't have much longer to be ashamed of me, at least. Blinking hard, Light avoided hit his father's eyes. You've got every right to hate me, Dad. But I promise I won't embarrass you again. Whatever happens, I'll take my punishment like a man, just like you wanted. You won't have to be ashamed for me of that. For a moment, Soichiro said nothing. Then he wet his lips. Light. Light didn't look up. Look at me. Slowly, reluctantly, Light raised his head. The day you were born, I spent 18 hours in a hospital room. People asked me if I was excited, and I said I was. People asked if I was proud, and I told them yes. But in truth, I felt guilty, right? I've never admitted it to anyone, but knowing your mother was in pain and that there was nothing I could do to help her, those were the hardest 18 hours of my life. Until now. He didn't say, but Elle heard the words clearly anyway. They hung in the air between father and son, all the louder for their silence. But then I saw you. My child. My son, my firstborn, I saw you right then. Right then I was proud. Not of myself, but of you. I knew it made no sense, but what had you done to be proud of? Your mother had done all the work, but you were a stranger to me then too. You cried when I held you, and yet I loved you, Light. From the first moment I met you, not even your mother can say that much. So Ichiro rose from his chair, but his eyes never left Light's face. I'm ashamed that I didn't notice what you were hiding from me. I'm ashamed that I was such a father that you were afraid to come to me with the truth. I'm ashamed I didn't raise you better. But I'm not ashamed of you. Whatever you've done, whatever you do now, you are my son. I loved you when you first came into this world, and I always will, no matter how you leave it. Light's face crumpled like tissue paper, pale and bloodless. Dad. His father was at his side before he could finish. Without a word, the ex-policeman pulled Kira to his feet and embraced him, clinging to his son as if daring anyone to force him to let go. Unable to return the embrace, Light clutched the front of his father's shirt, the knuckles of his chained hands widening with the force of his grip. Ashen-faced, Seiichiro closed his eyes, one hand rubbing gentle circles on Light's back. Can he feel the death note there? I wonder. Elle looked away. Don't leave me here, Light begged, the last shreds of his composure gone. Please, please don't leave me here. I'm sorry, Light. I can't stay here, not this time. I know, just take me home, please. It's a few days. I won't. I can't. I just want to go home. Disquieted, El shifted his feet. In an instant, both Yagumi's eyes were on him, as if they'd suddenly remembered he was there. They won't allow it, he said. Even as a last request, his name's already written, Ryuzaki. If he wanted to, he can't run. You know that. I know that. The public doesn't. It would be seen as an unreasonable risk and a depreciation of the gravity of the crime. El shrugged. I'm sorry. Light buried his face in his father's shoulder. I don't want to die, he wept brokenly. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to. I know. So he cradled the back of his son's head, helpless. I know. The door swung open, and a stone faced guard walked in. Forgive me, but physical contact with the prisoner is not allowed. It's alright, said El. That's his father, he's with me. Even so, it's agitating the prisoner. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. No, it's not. Light pulled away immediately, mopping his face on the back of his hand. He can stay, I'm calm, I promise. The guard ignored him. Special case or not, our policy states. No, forgive me, I understand. Sergio's hands dropped to his side, and he cracked a weak smile to his son. This isn't goodbye for long. I'll come back. With Mom and Sayu, yes. They're worried about you. Can't imagine why. Light's smile was thickly, but his eyes brimmed with relief. Tell them. Tell them I love them. I will. To El's surprise, Light turned to him. Ryuzaki? Yes. Until next time. The prisoner's face was solemn, but it held no trace of doubt. El nodded. Until next time. The guard coughed, and Light allowed himself to be led away, his shoulders set and his head held high. El could still hear the sound of his chains long after he disappeared from sight. End of chapter 4. A bit different from the other ones. The start is less sad. The ending is set in another way than the other chapters. I hope you enjoyed. Fuck. Yeah. I'm not going to censor the goddams and the dams, but they're part of it, and by censoring it, you just focus the attention on it. So I hope you enjoyed. Until next week,